As Dallas and I are here to announce our next big move, biggest move we've ever made for Revival Today. Behind me is a building that will look nothing like it looks right now when we finish. We're on just under 5 acres of property that we've just finished purchasing, which is going to give us the ability to have a state-of-the-art studio. And in that studio, something I've wanted to have for a long time, which is a live studio audience. It's going to be a 500-seat building when we finish with it that'll give us the ability to touch the world with our broadcasts. This facility is going to give me the ability to do what I've really missed, which is having you in the audience to minister to personally. Obviously, you can't beat the reach of digital media. We touch the whole world every day, but we have the ability now with this to lay hands on people, pray for people that are sick, a place where you can bring people that are drug addicted, demonized, and really give them the ministry that you can't get on YouTube and Facebook. I can't wait. And then beyond that, we're going to announce the launch of Revival Today Church. We're going to hold Holy Ghost church services every Sunday morning. I'll be there most Sunday mornings. This isn't going to be like some little side project. We're going to give you and your family a place you can go that's a soul-winning church that values the presence of God, where you can get prayed for and ministered to, where there's not a critical race theory lecture or a mass and social distancing 10 minutes of no talking to anybody in the lobby. None of that. We're going to have a place where you're free and where you're free to experience the presence of God.
I'm incredibly excited because I know a lot of you have been asking about different meetings and events that we couldn't have during COVID, and trust me, we tried so hard. So this really frees us up to do everything that we want to do with healing meetings and women's conferences. So I am so looking forward to seeing you and having you be a part of this.
So I want to give you a twofold call to action. Number one, if your church turned in to a liberal nightmare in 2020 and you need a place to go, I would be happy to have you at our church. Number two, if you are a partner or a friend of our ministry, Revival Today, this is the biggest move by far we've ever made. By the time we finish remodeling that building, the acquiring of the property, you're looking at a couple of M's. So if you would stand with us now, I'll say thank you ahead of time. Pray and ask the Holy Ghost what He would have you to do. You've been so generous, and I thank you ahead of time for your extreme generosity. I know I speak on behalf of my wife, everybody here at Revival Today when I say we love you very much. And now I can say I look forward to seeing you face to face here at the new home of Revival Today.
Hey.
Are on the broad road that leads to destruction. And tonight, I would say with Moses, I would say with Joshua, turn, repent, choose God, serve Him, live for Him. That is the message of God tonight to this great audience of people at Yankee Stadium.
I see revival coming to planet Earth. Maybe as never before. It would be untold numbers, an untold, uncounted multitudes that will be saved. The dead will be raised. The arthritic will be healed. Cancer will be healed. No disease would be able to stand before God's people, and that it would be a worldwide situation.
There's a church that doesn't just know about God, they know God. They don't just believe in His power, they carry His power. God will shake the United States of America one last time, not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit.
Jesus said in Matthew chapter 7, a wise man builds his life on my words. When I met Evangelist Jonathan, he showed me how to build my life on the Word of God, and I'll never be the same. So I thank you for that, and I really honor you.
This book is a roadmap from life temporal to life in heaven. That's true. But if that's all it is, you're going to get to but you're going to eat crackers and water and get there with scurvy and God knows what else. I came to tell you there's more fine print on that ticket. There's healing. Come and dine. The master calleth. You've got a seat at the captain's table and you can have anything you want. And after 3 scriptures, the devil left him for good. The devil's leaving you tonight. I said you're going to go home with the sword of the Spirit, and the devil that used to prey on your ignorance goes missing tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Check the Market. Good morning, Naveed, Jesus' little girl, Carrie. Good morning. Make sure you share the broadcast. Stock Market Samurai, good morning. Welcome to Check the Market. Today, Wednesday, we just had CPI numbers come out, and so we're going to go over that today. Going to take a look at Rivian. They got some news on that company, Fisker, a couple other things. Good morning, D&D Investments. Tracy. Where's everybody watching from? Tristan, good morning. Make sure you share the broadcast with everybody who's into investments and everybody who isn't yet into investments, but they will be after this show today. From Texas, California, Virginia, awesome. All over the U.S., Georgia. Markets are open. Let's take a look here, see where we're at. Dow Jones up, S&P 500 up, NASDAQ up, which makes no sense, but whatever. Oil is down. Yeah, it looks like the Dow Jones is up over 100 points. The S&P 11, almost 12 points, 11 and a half. NASDAQ 43 points. Good morning from Cape Town, South Africa. Awesome. Welcome, Jermaine. Portland, Oregon. Welcome. Welcome. Awesome. Let's get right into it this morning with the first article about the CPI numbers. July consumer prices jumped 5.4%, but core inflation rises less than expected. Let's see the article. See the article? Prices that Americans pay for everyday goods and services continue their acceleration in July. but about where economists had expected. Excluding energy and food, CPI rose 0.3% last month, shy of economists' expectations of a 0.4% increase and well below June's 0.9% rise. Used car prices, which rose rapidly between April and June, rose just 0.2% in July after a climb of more than 10% in the prior month. Continue. Prices that Americans pay for everyday goods and services, not just Americans, I mean this is globally that this is going on, continued their recent acceleration in July as pent-up demand for travel and restaurants kept inflation hot, but about where economists had expected. The Labor Department reported Wednesday that its consumer price index rose 5.4% in July from a year earlier, in line with June's figure and matching the largest jump since 2008. Continue. The government said CPI increased 0.5% on a month-over-month basis, matching a consensus forecast from economists surveyed by Dow Jones. Excluding energy and food, CPI rose by 0.3% last month, shy of a forecasted 0.4%, and well below June's rise of 0.9%. The core figure is up 4.3% over the last year, a slight deceleration from June's 4.5%. Economists often consider core CPI to be more reliable indicator since it's insulated from the frequent swings in petroleum and food prices. I think they should add it, just so it actually shows how much inflation is. Used car and truck prices, we already went over that. I didn't think this was very good news, but I guess the market doesn't care. We're now up 140 on the Dow Jones, 11 on the S&P, 41 on the NASDAQ. So the market is shrugging this off. They don't think this is better than expected, I guess. Magalis lies. Good morning, Christophorus. Latin Rose. Welcome to today's show. Let's see the next article. Oh, apparel prices were flat after a 0.7. Yeah. Senate approves framework. No, it's fine. We can keep going. Senate approves framework of 3.5. This was this morning. Senate approves the framework of a $3.5 trillion budget plan that would expand Medicare, tax credits, and climate initiatives. So more money, more liquidity. Let's see the article. Keep printing those dollars. Article? The Senate approved a budget resolution, the first step toward Democrats passing a $3.5 trillion spending plan without Republican votes. The party sees the plan as complementary to the more than $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan passed by the Senate on Tuesday. Congress likely will not pass either bill for weeks or even months. Continue. Senate Democrats took their first step towards passing a $3.5 trillion spending plan early Wednesday as the party forgoes ahead with a massive economic agenda. After more than 14 hours of votes on amendments, the Democratic-held chamber voted to pass a budget resolution 50-49 along party lines. The measure directs committees to craft a bill that would spend up to $3.5 trillion on climate initiatives, paid leave, childcare, education, and health care. Continue. The Democratic budget will bring a generational transformation to how our economy works for average Americans, Schumer said after its passage. It marks the first step in the budget reconciliation process, which will allow Democrats to approve their plan without a Republican vote in the Senate split 50-50 by party. The GOP has united against the proposal and the tax increases on corporations and wealthy individuals that Democrats plan to use to pay for it. There's no way you can increase taxes that much to be able to pay for this. The vote for the resolution follows Senate passage of a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill Tuesday. Democrats see the bipartisan plan and their reconciliation bill as complementary planks of an agenda that aims to create jobs, slow climate change, and strengthen the social safety net. Continue. Early signs of trouble emerged for Democrats who have to keep every member of their Senate caucus on board to pass their spending plan. Senator Joe Manchin raised concerns about the $3.5 trillion price tag and signaled he would try to scale back the final legislation. I saw an article on that this morning, too, that he's not, as it stands, he's not going to vote for it. Given the current state of the economic recovery, it is simply irresponsible to continue spending at levels more suited to respond to a Great Depression or Great Recession, not an economy that's on the verge of overheating, he said in a statement. Neither bill will get to President Joe Biden's desk for weeks or even months. The House will also need to approve a budget resolution before Congress can craft and pass final legislation. So it looks like they're still trying to push this thing through $3.5 trillion that then our children and children's children and children's 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 children are going to have to pay for, should the Lord tarry. Continue. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer announced Tuesday that the chamber will return from its current recess on August 23rd. So the resolution seeks to expand paid family and medical leave, make childcare more accessible, create universal pre-K and tuition-free community college, and extend enhanced household tax credits passed during the coronavirus pandemic. It also recommends lowering the Medicare eligibility age and expanding benefits to include dental, vision, and hearing. The measure also calls for expanding green energy and curbing climate change through business tax incentives, consumer rebates, and polluter fees. They need to keep working on this thing for sure, because this is going to, as it stands, it's not going to create jobs. It's going to take jobs away, guaranteed, from the U.S. They're going to move them overseas, more taxes, things like that. Continue. Yeah, for real, to the 7th and 8th generation. 3.5 trillion. Congress needs to start living by a budget like everybody else, and not just increase their budget whenever they feel like it and increase their debt ceilings. It's incredible how they do that, but everybody else gets regulated. So companies can't even do that. Companies that do that, or they, go far into debt and then there's a collapse, then they're investigated by the SEC, they're sued by shareholders. There needs to be some sort of repercussion. They can't just keep doing this. Absolutely, they need to be held accountable. Continue, next, before I get my blood pressure up. Good news, Coinbase profits surge following volatile stretch of cryptocurrency trading. Look at that, we got some coffee coming. Thank you. Christophorus, I got my coffee too now. Let's see the article. In Q2, Coinbase brought in $2.23 billion of revenue versus $1.78 billion expected by Refinitiv. It also reported adjusted earnings per share of $3.45. Coinbase shares rose as much as 2.1% in extended trading Tuesday after reporting a second quarter revenue that was stronger than analysts had expected. Here's how the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the US did versus expectations per Refinitiv estimates. Revenue $2.23 billion versus $1.78 billion expected, so they blew that out of the water. Almost, almost half a billion more. Earnings $3.45 per share, adjusted, which excludes stock-based compensation benefits versus $2.33 expected. Wow. So Coinbase doing good. Where are they at this morning? Let me take a look. Who else is invested in Coinbase? Who bought it when it was way up, right when it IPO'd? And is still down. Up 5% today to 283. I bought in around 320. So still $40 to go till I break even on it. Continue. The company's net profit for the quarter was $1.6 billion, up nearly 4,900% from a year earlier, following a volatile stretch of trading for cryptocurrencies. Coinbase's fate is tethered to the performance of digital assets like Bitcoin. The company generated $2 billion in net revenue, including $1.9 billion in transaction revenue and more than $100 million in subscription and service revenue. Bitcoin fell about 41% during the quarter. Monthly transacting users grew to 8.8 million, up 44% from the previous quarter, while trading volume rose 38% to $462 billion from the previous quarter. Good news there about Coinbase. Continue. While the company offered no formal guidance, it did say trading volume will be lower in the third quarter compared with quarter two. For the full year, analysts surveyed by Refinitiv expected $7.76 per share on revenue of $6.29 billion. During April's direct listing, Coinbase opened at $381 per share and was briefly valued as much as $100 billion, a landmark event for the cryptocurrency industry. Excluding after-hour move, Coinbase had fallen about 29% since the company's direct listing on April 14th, while the Nasdaq has risen nearly 7% over the same period. Correction, Nasdaq climbed close to 7% since Coinbase direct listing on April 14th. Okay. Continue. Chocolate-flavored coffee, Hairbender coffee. I'm going to have to look that up. If I drink flavored coffee, I like to drink pecan-flavored coffee, or pecan, depending on where you're from. Hairbender coffee. There we go, looked it up. Infrastructure bill passage will run into much more difficult sledding, Kevin Brady. Let's see the article. It really is, Tracy. Southern pecan coffee is, or pecan, depending on where you're from, is the best. The $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill passed Tuesday by U.S. Senate faces difficult sledding, especially when it gets colder outside. I usually get a pack of the pecan, whatever, flavored coffee right around Thanksgiving. The $1.2 trillion, enough flavored coffee. The $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill passed Tuesday by the U.S. Senate faces difficult sledding among progressive Democrats and Republicans in the House of Representatives. If this was a pure infrastructure bill and paid for, no question, I think the bulk of Republicans would support it, including me, including everybody here at Check the Market. It's not. Representative Kevin, except for Nick. No, I'm just kidding. All right. The bipartisan infrastructure plan proposes spending $550 billion over 5 years in new money on roads, bridges, waterways, public transit, railways, the power grid, and broadband internet. President Biden said, "We can still come together to do things, important things for the American people," highlighting the compromise senators from both political parties made to draft and pass the legislation, which totals $1.2 trillion in overall spending. Continue. Getting Republicans involved in these conversations made this bill considerably better compared to the president's original infrastructure bill, but progressive Democrats like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez say they won't vote for it in the House unless the Senate passes a second $3.5 trillion. Why don't just make it an even $10 trillion? I don't understand. At this point, we're just throwing numbers around. Let's just make it like, $12, $14 trillion. Everybody in America gets a Ferrari. Everybody gets a mansion. Everybody gets universal income. Why not just go for it? Either go for it or don't. But this 3.5 trillion, 1.2, we all know you just want to go for it. Just go for it. Just because something is bipartisan doesn't mean it's good, said Ocasio-Cortez. Oh my goodness. Look at Wall Street bailouts. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to tie the infrastructure vote to the passage of the $3.5 trillion reconciliation plan in the Senate. Brady said that spells trouble, so I don't know if the very radical left will push her into what you and I think is a more egregious bill tied to these big tax and spending reconciliation. I don't know. She's got a big problem on her hands. Continue. Brady said infrastructure done right can help with economic growth. Yes. But he warns injecting $1 trillion in government spending via infrastructure when rising prices are continuing to be a huge problem, and contemplating another $3.5 trillion on top of it will ignite inflation, not just for the short term, but for an extended period, and no one wants to see that. Inflation expectations are starting to take hold among Brady's constituents, he said, and that's what worries me, because as you know, once those inflation expectations, take hold, then you've got big problems going forward. Preventing the government from spending more would keep inflation under control. We can stop those policies and help if we act now. Yes, absolutely. Continue. Here we go. Fisker is electric vehicle architect, Morgan Stanley says, boosting stock. This is one of my favorite electric vehicle stocks, Fisker. Can you guys pull up the picture of the, I believe it's called the Fisker Ocean? They have a really good looking SUV. It's called the Fisker Ocean. They used to make, there we go, with like a solar roof on top. That is a good looking SUV. And they're using I believe Magna Steyr in the Magna Steyr or Puch, one of those two companies in Austria, to build the vehicle. So they have almost no overhead. I think they're doing a great job. They used to build the Fisker Karma, if anybody remembers that vehicle back in, that was when I first came to the US. I know that one of the people from the college there, whatever they called the bigwigs, had one. Fisker Karma. That's the Fisker Ocean. Good looking car. All right, let's see the article. That was the Fisker Karma right there. You had that one, and then the Tesla Model S came out at around that time. Let's see the article. Fisker stock jumped nearly 20% on Tuesday after a boost from Morgan Stanley. I was happy to see that in my portfolio. Let me take a look here, see where they're at right now. And they're down 1.5%. After a boost from Morgan Stanley, which said the electric car maker is the rare EV startup likely to launch its vehicles on time, and that the stock has room to more than double in a year's time. Fisker shares were on track to close at their highest in nearly 6 weeks, and for their largest one-day percentage increase since late February. Adam Jonas at Morgan Stanley resumed coverage of Fisker stock at the equivalent of a buy rating, setting a 12-month price target of $40 or 122% upside over Tuesday's share price. We believe Fisker may be one of the only EV-related startups to actually launch on time and ramp efficaciously in late 2022. Jonas said in his note, its business model is to be an EV design and engineering lab and consumer experience architect. We continue to recommend Fisker as our highest rated D-SPAC EV startup. I think they're doing it right. They're already a brand. People already know, or a lot of people already know about Fisker that were in the EV space, that have been in the EV space for a long time. And I think this is a great company. It's been on our stocks to research list too. Continue. Fisker has moved to contracting with auto parts, electronics, and other makers in a bid to diversify its production. a strategy some on the street have dubbed a bid to become the Apple of autos, focusing on design and consumer interfaces. So that's all that Fisker does, is they focus on the design, interfaces, and then they contract all the manufacturing out. It announced a deal with electronics powerhouse Foxconn. They're the same ones that make the iPhone. In February, Fisker also has an agreement with auto parts maker Magna, that's what it is, not Poch, it's Magna, out of Austria. Planning to have 4 vehicles in production by 2025, 3 with Magna and 1 with Foxconn. Fisker is taking a different path with respect to outsourcing, Jonas said in his note. Fisker critics say that the EV maker outsources too much to suppliers and doesn't have as much of a secret sauce in-house. While we agreed that the big winners in the global EV arms race may be the vertically integrated platform players, there's room for other strategies, Jonas said. Fisker in August reported a narrow quarterly loss than Wall Street expected and said it remains on track to start producing its first vehicle, an all-electric SUV, by next year. Fisker went public in October through a merger with a blank check company. The stock has gained about 20% so far this year, with an advance of around 18% for the S&P. Next, Southwest Airlines. Just a couple days ago, I had an article that said that they said business travel is back, and you can't even believe anything these people say anymore. Southwest Airlines warns Q3 unlikely to be profitable as Delta variant slows booking and cancellations rise. See the article? Southwest Airlines shares slid 2.3% in pre-market trade. Let's see where they're at right now. You know, they were moving in pre-market. Oh, they're down only a third of a percent. After the airline said slowing bookings and an increase in cancellation in August, driven by the Delta variant of the coronavirus, means it's unlikely to be profitable in the third quarter. In a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the airline said July operating revenues performed in line with expectations, with leisure passenger traffic and fares both above 2019 level, before the trend reversed in August, based on the assumption that COVID-19 cases remain elevated in the near term and current revenue trends in August continue into September. The company's current outlook for third quarter 21 operating revenues has worsened by an estimated 3 to 4 points from its previous outlook 3 weeks ago, compared with third quarter 2019. The company now expects July operating revenue to be down about 12% compared with 2019, versus a prior estimate of down 10 to 15. It expects its August operating revenues to do down 15 to 20% for September revenue. Again, download Grammarly, whoever's writing these articles, and make sure that you run your article through Grammarly before you post them online. So there you have it. Southwest Airlines has reversed. If I was Southwest Airlines, what I would do is I would sue every news media corporation that has been just spreading fear, and then put that make up for the revenue that way. Next, to do down, yes. Moderna's stock price is ridiculous, says Bank of America analyst. So I was looking at Moderna's stock price. It's up 300 and something percent. mRNA. Let's take a look here. They're down 7% today. So it looks like people have been reading this. So Moderna's stock price is up 511% this over the past year. So since August of 2020, they're up 512%. Valuation is no longer just unreasonable, as bearish analyst Jeff Meacham's price target implies a decline of more than 75%. So everybody's trading options. Get your put options on Moderna, because at some point this company is going to have to come down a little bit. Their PE ratio is at 57, which that's pretty huge. So get your options in on Moderna. See the article? Shares of Moderna have soared so much that a biotechnology company's valuation is unjustifiable on a fundamental basis, said analyst Jeff Meacham on Tuesday, as his analysis suggests the stock should be priced roughly 75% below current levels. On Monday, the stock shot up 17.1%, the biggest one-day gain in nearly 9 months, to a record close of 484 after the company's COVID-19 vaccine was granted provisional authorization in Australia. At that price, the stock had rocketed 364% year to date and valued the company at $195 billion. Wow. At that valuation, Meacham, an analyst at Bank of America, noted that the 11-year-old company was worth more than 40-year-old Amgen, which is currently trading at about $129 billion, and the 130-year-old Merck & Company at roughly $189 billion, both of which are Dow Jones Industrial Average components. Yeah, that would be the same as shorting it. So you're getting you're buying put options way down. I don't know where, wherever you. Let's see here if I bought some. So you'd buy a put option at, $260 or even $250. And the options contracts are about 93 cents, which means they're about $93 for a put option. No, they're definitely not for profit. But even their profit isn't large enough to justify the price that Moderna is at right now. When there is going to be a pullback in the market, this company is going to go down. The stock price, not the company itself. The stock price is going to go down by probably a fair amount. Continue. Yeah, next. Enough about Moderna. So get your put options on Moderna. You can just buy one put option, $93. There was I bought a put option or a call option on a company once, Holly Frontier Corp, back in 2018. I want to say it was 2018. It was $200 for this way out of the money call option. And I ended up making over $2,000 or $3,000 on this trade. So that was right when I first started getting into options, and that was my best one until then. Amazon backed Rivian in talks for $5 billion Texas plant. Rivian is also one of the electric car companies that I think could do fairly well, just because they're not bringing out false numbers. They haven't gone public yet. They're backed by Amazon. See if you can pull up a picture of the Rivian pickup truck. I think it's a pretty good looking one. What's that? Awesome. The factory would have a capacity to produce 200,000 EVs a year. Project would create at least 7,500 jobs. Let's see the article. There we go. So that's the all-electric pickup truck from Rivian. It's actually, I saw it in the background when Jeff Bezos went up into space. They were riding in these Rivian pickup trucks, trying to do a little bit of what Elon Musk there did when NASA was using Teslas to drive their astronauts out to the ramp. I think they're doing a great job, Rivian is. And they haven't brought out any statements or anything like that. It's like a lot of the other electric vehicle manufacturers where they just, we've already had 1 million pre-sales, whatever. They haven't done any of that. So So in the EV space, I think it's a pretty good looking car. There you have it. Red Canyon Midnight. Come out with some forest green. All right, let's see the article. Vegan leather seating. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Vegan leather? Wow. What's her name from Sweden? She's going to be happy that it's vegan. Greta Thunberg. Yeah, she's going to be happy. Rivian Automotive, the electric vehicle startup backed by Amazon, is in talks to invest at least $5 billion to build a factory near Fort Worth, Texas. According to a document obtained by Bloomberg News, the factory codenamed Project Terra. The one thing I can't understand about all these companies is that they're building factories in Texas, and that when you look at their website, they're all like proudly Californian. So if you're so proudly Californian, why aren't you manufacturing your vehicles in California? The factory codenamed Project Terra. That is true. How much power and other pollution is produced to make vegan leather? But those are things that we're not allowed to talk to Greta Thunberg about. The factory codenamed Project Terra, according to the document, will be able to produce 200,000 vehicles a year and will create at least 7,500 jobs by 2027. The presentation made by the City of Fort Worth's Economic Development Department to the City Council and dated August 10th also includes a number of incentives, including grants and county tax abatement of up to $440 million. Oh, so they're making it easier for companies to come to Fort Worth instead of more expensive, like if you build a factory in New York or California. Continue. The $5 billion capital investment commitment from Rivian includes a minimum $2 billion in real property improvements and $1.6 billion in hard construction costs, the document shows. The company has committed to completing its initial investments by the end of 2024. Continue. While a number of states and cities are still under consideration, the Texas site has become the front runner for Rivian. According to people familiar with the matter, Rivian, and in particular Chief Executive Officer R.J. Scaring, had previously been keen on a location in Arizona. I mean, I would be too. But concerns were raised about the available infrastructure, the people said, asking not to be identified, discussing private information. No final decision has been made. Rivian is also in talks to becoming listed public. So, doing an IPO. I don't know if they, if any decision, I was trying to look it up this morning real quick. I'm going to have to look it up again because that would be one electric vehicle company that I'm actually interested in investing in. Next. Here's some interesting news. Personal finance guru advises dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. See the article? Personal finance guru Susie Orman says she recommends dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. She sees upsides to the cryptocurrency, noting that it could turn into a payment structure. Yeah, I wouldn't go to California either if I was jumping across the border, that's for sure. I'd go to Texas or Arizona. Personal finance guru and best-selling author Susie Orman has shared her view of why she's bullish about the price of Bitcoin. This surprised me. I didn't think that she would be into cryptocurrencies. The Susie Orman Financial Group founder, whose show ran on CNBC from 2002 to 2015, has written 10 consecutive New York Times bestsellers about personal finance. She was named twice on Time Magazine's list of... enough about that. Continue. In terms of how to get into Bitcoin and how much to invest, Orman advised, I think it's something that you hold for the long term or you dollar cost average into it with very, very little amounts. While the amount varies from person to person, she gave $100 a month as an example. As for where to buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, Orman mentioned the NASDAQ-listed cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase. and Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX exchange. Previously, she recommended PayPal. However, the company currently does not allow users to transfer cryptocurrencies away from its platform, something the CEO said will soon change. The new infrastructure bill does have some cryptocurrency things in it for taxation and regulation purposes. Explaining why the price of Bitcoin rallied recently, she cited Amazon's job posting for a digital currency and blockchain product lead. Orman pondered if the e-commerce giant is thinking about accepting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for payment. When Amazon enters something, you have got to pay attention to it. Continue. Continue. Next, the financial expert pointed to Tesla, Elon Musk's electric car company, which began accepting Bitcoin in March, but suspended it due to environmental concerns. I wonder if Susie Orman's been watching Check the Market. I'm gonna have to look at her stuff to see if she's been watching Check the Market, because if she has, talks about things like that on her platform, I'm gonna have to send her a cease and desist letter. Furthermore, she noted that cryptocurrency could become a payment mechanism, elaborating, it seems that the direction Bitcoin is going is that, unlike gold that can't be used to make a purchase, it seems like people are starting to gear up where crypto isn't just going to be something like gold, it really would possibly turn into a payment structure. So there you have it. Susie Orman as well as saying get into or buy into cryptocurrencies. That's what I've been doing for past couple of months, is just little by little. Every month I take a little amount, I put it in Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, XLM. Let's get into the stocks to research for today. Look at that.
You must be new or something, man. We the best, man.
Warren Buffett gives $4.1 billion to charity. Gates, $1.7 billion for vaccines. Bezos, it's the best he could come up with. I'm going to space. Gives $10,000 to charity and then goes to space. Apple CEO confirms the tech giants are working on a driverless car, Apple car. So Sarah, she decided she was going to comment on this. It's the year 2032. You're driving on the highway to work in your Apple car. When you hear the news that the new Apple Car 2 is coming out, suddenly the speed of your car goes from 95 to 25 miles per hour and chaos ensues. Oh man, that would be actually something they do. They're going to slow your car down, so you have to upgrade to the Apple Car 2 and then the Apple Car 3. They'll figure out a way. You won't actually own the Apple Car. It'll be subscription based. But the good news is that with every new Apple Car, they'll have a better camera every single year. Just slightly better. Next. What's that? Exactly. You're right. You'll pay $70,000 for an Apple Car, an additional $8,000 for a charger in your house, and then they switch it as soon as the next Apple Car comes out. Exactly. Got to go to Whole Foods every day to charge your car. Oh man. When you miss the opportunity to buy the dip. Yep. I wish I would have bought more Bitcoin a couple of weeks ago instead of doing, just little into cryptocurrencies. I should have done much into cryptocurrencies. Next. That's it? All right, let's go over the stocks to research. So today I've got Vanguard VPU, Vanguard Utilities Index Fund, ETF shares. seeks to track the performance of the MSCI US Investable Market Utilities Index, an index made up of stocks of US companies within the utilities sector. So utilities have historically done well even throughout recessions. This is a more defensive play and could add some security to your portfolio if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for high risk, then just cryptocurrencies. It has a dividend yield of around 2.84%. Historically, utilities have paid good dividends to its investors, has a 4-star Morningstar rating, and around 10% return since its inception in 2004. Medium risk IHI. iShares US Medical Devices. The investment seeks to track the investment results of the Dow Jones US Select Medical Equipment Index, composed of US equities in the medical devices sector. It has a small dividend of 0.25%, not even worth mentioning, and a 5-star Morningstar rating. The ETF has had solid returns of around 14 to 15% since its inception in 2006. So if you don't like picking just one stock in the medical devices sector to invest in, this is a good opportunity for you to diversify across the sector. So low was VPU, medium is IHI, and then high risk, we have App Harvest. We went over this a couple of weeks ago. APPH. APPH, they just had earnings yesterday, and they're not doing good. They're down to $7.27 per share, down about 40% this past week. I think that this company can still do fairly well. And I'm going to wait a little bit to get into it. So App Harvest is an agricultural technology company. Company has 2 68-acre indoor facilities where they grow fresh fruits and vegetables. They develop technology systems to monitor the pollination and other factors across their indoor facilities. This enables the company to increase their output. The company is still in the R&D phase and working on more technology. It was trading over $42 per share, but has since come back down to around 10 and now to 7 actually. This morning it was still 10. The average price target for most analysts is around $25 a share. Fundamentals are not great, and they just had an earnings miss. So it's dropped below its 52-week low at this point. I'm going to wait a little bit, see where it's at the end of the day, and see if that would be a good point to get in. I might actually wait a little bit longer than that, because it's just carnage at this point. And that was it. So APPH, App Harvest, for high risk, medium IHI, low VPU. Yeah, absolutely. And you have to sign a contract giving Apple the right to your children or animals and forfeiting all ownership of anything Apple deems necessary in order to repay them. They use technology like indoor technology with pollination and stuff like that. It's so we'll see what it does. Yeah, at this point they're only growing tomatoes. I think they were working on some other stuff. Let me take a look here. Yeah, right now they're still just growing the tomatoes. I'm more interested in the technology that they're using to grow the tomatoes. All right. Evangelist Jonathan is still in Hobbs, New Mexico. So if you haven't made out to the meetings, there is 3 more nights, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Make sure you make it out at 7 p.m. tonight, tomorrow night, and Friday night at Choose Life Church in Hobbs, New Mexico. If you're anywhere within the Florida, Georgia, South Carolina region, Apopka is coming up this weekend. In Apopka, Florida, Word of Life Church on Vic Road in Apopka, Florida, Friday through Saturday at 7 p.m. and then Sunday at 10:30 and 6 p.m. And we have a great giveaway today. We got our Check the Market shirts. We're going to do a giveaway with that. So for your donation of any size, we're going to give away that Check the Market shirt. So you can represent and show off Check the Market shirt. So make sure that you claim your offer. Go to revivaltoday.com/give, or you can go to, you can do #donate on Facebook. Text RT to 50155. Cash App $RT give. Yeah, I really think that App Harvest has a good idea. They're probably going to have to by far increase their capacity to be able to really, because they are valued a little bit high. Venmo at RTGive, revivaltoday.com/PayPal to give by PayPal, or we also accept cryptocurrencies. You can scan the code right there. Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, whatever else coin you can think up. If you don't see it when you scan the code, you can call us at 412-446-2332. Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, PA 15329. Don't forget to claim your offer at revivaltoday.com to get that Check the Market shirt. And for every gift this week that comes in for the Check the Market shirt or the mug or whatever else we gave away, I'm going to pick one person to send a Pan Am stock certificate to. I'm going to have it framed up. It comes in today. I'll have it framed up and I'll send it to you. That way you can have an old stock certificate. I got one of those hanging in my... What's that? Yeah, don't forget to claim your offer, revivaltoday.com/offer, so you'll be entered in, and we'll pick one person to send that Pan Am stock certificate to. A Vanguard stock fund from work. I just retired. Vanguard stock funds have traditionally done very well. They're very good at that. They're also non-profit, I believe, and so there's less of an incentive for people who work with Vanguard to do everything in their power to make money for themselves and not for people who invest. That's why I like Vanguard funds. At 11 a.m., we have the Revival Day broadcast with Evangelist Jonathan Oradalis, Revival Day Live. Then Miss Maddie Ortiz at 4 p.m. And tonight at 10 p.m., check the news with Evangelist Jonathan or with Magalis. Make sure you tune in for all our broadcasts. Thanks for hanging out. And hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.